almost fire. I've been obsessed with these little things since I was really little. Something about just like going into dark spaces with flickering lights. It always made me really happy. Welcome back to my channel. My name is JJ. I am a writer and a reader, and I am currently waiting still on one more person to give me feedback on the book that I just finished writing. So I've talked a little bit before about what I do while I'm waiting, because publishing comes with a lot of waiting periods. Like when I tell you 90% of this industry is like waiting. It feels like that's what I've done a lot of. Almost my entire publishing career thus far has been spent just waiting. And that's the case throughout. I gotta get cozy. Gotta sit cross-legged on my little stool. Yeah, so I like publishing in general, right? It comes in seasons of really busy, do everything right now, right this second, and take a breath, calm down. You have 4 months before you have to do anything. And part of that is because I've already established the rhythms of what to do in those quieter times. When I'm talking with other authors, I often will say, this is your off season, and your off season is still full of things that you're doing. You're always doing some of these things, but there comes a point where you're constantly making the return to your off season activities. And I put it in quotes because technically, as a writer, as a reader, as an author, doing sales, marketing, and publicity, sales, marketing, and I missed a word there, and publicity. For as much as I work with words for a living, I am really, really bad at using them intentionally. So that's fun. Anyway, yeah, so publishing, what you do in your off season is what I'm doing right now. It's what do you do when you're waiting? What do you do when you're resting between big projects? What do you do when your creative juices need to be refilled? And how do you go about preparing and rejuvenating? And what rhythms stick around and what rhythms adjust a little bit? I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what I'm doing while I wait. Again, I've had this conversation before, but it's always good to come back and revisit old topics because my process has changed and the things that work for me have changed and the things that I am drawn to have changed. So yeah, what do I do while I'm waiting, and what do those waiting periods look like, right? So right now, that waiting period is just waiting for beta readers to get back to me. They have the book, they're going through the book, they're enjoying the book. I can see their comments pop up. They are enjoying the book, which makes my heart so happy. There's nothing that a writer likes more than to have people who know their little imaginary friends on paper the same way that they do. And to be able to hold those conversations with people in real life about these characters that you created and that you came up with and that have lived in your mind rent-free for who knows how long. It's incredible. It's one of the most fun things about publishing is to finally, and writing in general, is to finally have people who you can talk to about your book. And so that's super fun. So I've been seeing their comments come in. I've been seeing them be able to talk with each other even about different characters and their goals and what they like or don't like, and who they trust and who they don't trust, and at what point do they trust them, and at what point are they like, no, we don't trust that guy, actually. And so that's super fun to me to see as the writer of this book, but it's also super fun to be able to be like, hey, yeah, so that character that you didn't trust, good job, you caught on. Now, question, because you're a better reader, did you like that you caught on? Was that a fun experience, etc., etc.? So while I wait for the last one of them to give me my feedback that I'm waiting on, I have been digging into and reprocessing and sort of, not reprocessing, but figuring out like some of the other stories that I've been working on. So that's one thing that I can do while I'm waiting, and that you can do while you're waiting. I've gotten back into platform building and nurturing. Everything about this off season really makes a return to what do you do when you're not actively working on a book, right? And so that means working on smaller projects. For me, that means that the short stories are going up on my blog again. I have playlists of me reading those short stories if you want to check those out here, or you can just go read them for yourself. There's a link in the description. But I have short stories that I work on. I have other book ideas that I have just been tumbling around in my mind. Different characters who have barged into my life again, and they're like, hi, here I am. Is it time for you to write my book yet? And I have to say, are you going to tell me your story yet? And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't work, but you know, we go from there. So that's another thing that I do while I'm waiting. I've also been having a ton of fun putting together more and more designs for my merch shop. So if you want to get some bookish tote bags for, book bags to go to the library with, or just like a little pillow to decorate your cozy reading spot, or even like a t-shirt that's just like, I love books. I got that stuff. It's here and it's there, so you can go check it out in the description. But I am engaging with the other parts of my artistic mind and soul and the things that I love just to engage with as a person, the things that make me happy. So yeah, so like creating different types of art, creating other types of products that I can just, create for you to use or just for me to look at and have fun with. That's kind of what the merch shop is for. I know there's only like 140 of you. And most of the people who watch this channel actually aren't subscribed. So if you are one of those people and I've popped up on your screen before and you're like, wow, I actually kind of like that person, would you just do me a favor and subscribe so you can stick around? I think that would be kind of fun. I'd love to have a better idea of like who's paying attention and what you're all looking for. So that's the business side of things, though. Let's keep talking. Let's just keep talking the fun stuff, right? Another thing that I've been doing is continuing to do in my off season is watching fun different TV shows with one of my friends. We've both been on a fantasy kick recently, so like we just re-binged. We had a Lord of the Rings marathon. Yes, we watched the extended editions. Yes, I want to go back and cosplay as many different hobbits as I can. That sounds fun for me right now, so I might be making some hobbity clothing. If I do that and I do any kind of photo shoots, I'll put that up on my Instagram. Yeah, you know where to go. You're on YouTube. You've done this before. You know to look in the description for more information on everything. So I can stop saying that now, right? Right? Reading books. I've been slowly continuing my way through that TBR pile that I posted recently. And also I added another book to that pile. Everyone in my family has killed someone. We'll put the cover over here. That one has been really entertaining, actually. I've been highly enjoying this book. It is breaking the fourth wall. It's making me laugh. It's a murder mystery that knows it's a murder mystery. You know, like sometimes you read books and you're like, oh yes, this perfectly fits the genre conventions. And this book is self-aware. It knows that it's a book. The author himself, like not the author, but the author, I suppose. The main character, the narrator, is an author who writes books about how to write mysteries. And so he's familiar with all of the tropes and he's mentioning them all of the time. He's like, I suppose if you read this sort of book, you would know that this character, my sister, is probably going to be this character trope. It's hilarious. So if you enjoy that kind of book, highly recommend Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson, because I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So I've been doing that while I wait for people to come back to me with feedback on my book. I've been thinking about, I haven't actually gotten around to it, but I've been thinking about rearranging my bookshelf and going through my books to figure out, okay, will I actually read this book or can I give the shelf space to something else? How do I make the space serve my needs and my purposes a little bit better? We'll figure that out when we get there. But yeah, mostly I've just been hanging out, watching movies, watching TV shows. Back to the TV shows. I'm jumping all over the place. Bear with me. Back to the TV shows and movies that I've been watching with my friends. We watched, like I said, we watched Lord of the Rings. Classic. Still holds up. Honestly, we were talking about this together, but we were like, the CGI in those movies from like 2003 is still really well done. And I know they did a lot of practical effects, but it's hard to see. It's hard to tell when it's CGI and when it's a practical effect, which is really refreshing. I feel like a lot of CGI now, like the default is CGI, and it's fun to see a movie that blends it so perfectly and so naturally that you have an easier time just forgetting that you're watching a movie and it feels like you're actually transported to this other world. And Lord of the Rings did that really, really well. So I do really appreciate that about them, about those movies. The other TV shows that we've been going through, I'm behind on everything pop culture, and I'm ahead in other really random ways in pop culture. So the things that I'm aware of now are not the things that I thought I would be aware of or the things that I thought I would be following. The most impactful TV show I think that I have watched with this friend, Teresa, actually. If you've been around here from the very beginning, you've heard that name. We used to go back and forth, John Green, Hank Green style, but on separate channels. With book babble videos. So you can, I don't know if you can go find her stuff, but you've heard her name before if you've been around here from like the very, 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 very beginning of this channel. But yeah, we've been watching movies and TV shows together. And Arthdal Chronicles, I've been trying to get here for the last 2 minutes. The Arthdal Chronicles has been probably one of the most original pieces of fiction that I have consumed in a very long time. It is so interesting. It's an alternative history of the very, very, very early stages of humanity on Earth, and especially that crossover point between Neanderthals to humans and how that occurred. So that's super nifty. It's also a political drama with really good action sequences. So I do love that a lot. Everything is happening behind closed doors and there's a lot of like who knows what secrets and what blackmail can we have to use over here and what secrets do we need to have and keep, and prophecies, chosen one tropes, but like, who is the chosen one? You're trying to figure that out too. And then there's like, but it's also not just one, it's like the chosen three. Anyway, I love it. I love the acting, I love the characterization, I love the character development that happens. Truly, truly, really, really cool storytelling. So if you're interested in a very different style of a fantasy, and you're fine with watching movies and TV shows with subtitles, look up the Arthdal Chronicles. Right now it's on Netflix. I don't know if that'll still be the same whenever you get around to watching this, but it's so good and I am obsessed. Yeah. I've been meaning to talk about that on YouTube for months, it feels like. Anyway, so go check out that one. That one's really good. I've really been enjoying it. We've also been catching up on all things like, she just started me on the 100, so to show you how far behind I am in certain parts of pop culture and also how far ahead I am in other parts of pop culture. You probably haven't heard of the Arthdal Chronicles, but you probably have heard of the 100, and you've probably watched all of the 100 before. This is one of my favorite things about fiction and the ability to engage with it in different timelines, different time periods even. Like, that we can all find the same stories, but at different points in our lives, and be impacted by them either in the same ways or in different ways, and that some stories can make such big impacts and others can make such like minute but personal impacts. That's so cool, and it's one of the things I love most about stories and storytelling, and part of the reason that I got into the publishing industry. I love the impact that books can have, and how that impact, books, movies, TV shows, it doesn't matter, stories at large, I love the impact that that can have overall, and how everybody can come upon these stories at different points in time and be influenced by them in different ways. It's so cool. I love it. I love it. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing while I wait. I've been writing short, easy, quick things. I've been researching literary agents to see who's open, who's not open, who's still representing the genres, who's a good fit for this book versus the other books that I've written, etc. And also who would probably be a good fit going forward, knowing the blend of genre that I write. You know, like I tend to write more action thriller than I do calmer suspense. But to have somebody representing this particular book, I'm gonna need somebody who does a little bit more calmer suspense, but I want somebody who can do both, who has the connections in both, and a lot of those connections are going to be really similar, but I'm very excited about that. But I have to do a lot of research to figure out, okay, what other books have they been representing? What other genres do they, like, where are their connections in the industry, and what does that look like? So that's super fun. Lots of research, lots of different types of work. I've still been going out to the coffee shop to write, edit, read, prepare, research, etc. It's still just a fun space that I hold for my own work, and for my own projects, which is super fun and super cool. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing while I'm waiting this time, is I'm consuming a lot of stories and a lot of media, and I'm reading books for fun, which is great. I'm building my freelance business, which is also super fun. You can check that out. I said I was going to stop saying this, but you can check it out down in the description. The information is all there if you are an author looking to hire somebody to help you with marketing and publicity. I have all of the information is down below, so you can check that out. But cool. Okay, that's enough for today. But thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for sticking with this longer video of me just rambling. I hope you have enjoyed catching up with me on this particular topic and this particular day, and I'm hopeful that very soon I will have more news about the editorial work that I'm doing and everything else like that in terms of my own books and where that's coming from. And you know, you'll be the first to know when I'm back to submitting things, because I get too excited and then I talk to the internet at large. So thank you, internet at large, for being part of this journey and for being just present with me as I'm pursuing all of this. It makes it really fun for me. So if you're interested in getting a hint of some of my writing and my style and my voice, do check out the short stories that I've written. They're all live on my blog, so you can easily find them on my website. That's the best way to figure out if the books that I write are going to be up your alley or not, because that's a really good sampling of the types of stories that I write and the types of characters that interest me. So that's available to you. If you want some fun stuff and some fun ways to support me as I go about doing this and writing, reading, etc., and pursue this as a career choice, because the world is weird in the 21st century, wherever we're at. In this year, 2023, the fact that I can talk to my cell phone and consider this as a potential job, career where I get paid, is heavily and entirely actually dependent on you, the viewer. So it would mean a lot to me if you could just tell me that you're here for that. But also that I can even consider this as a job opportunity is crazy and bizarre. So I'm really glad that I'm born in this time, at this place right now, for as crazy as this last bunch of years has been collectively. Anyway, until next time, I will see you then. This was quite the rambly video. Welcome to the world inside my mind. Bye.